what you see.
I think having a more diverse field of Muslim artists in the upcoming years is going to be interesting because, lots of the research that I do is on religiosity. Muslim Americans, Muslims generally tend to be very highly religious, right? The global Muslim is a very conservative person. These films really demonstrate like a liberal, progressive Muslim attitudes, which is fine, right? That's one depiction of the broad array of who we are, right? But I wish Hollywood was bold enough to really delve into some of the traditional aspects of who we are, the conservative aspects, but also the mystical, esoteric aspects of Islam.
Take us
Now we're going to move on to some of my favorite depictions of Islam in Hollywood or in Western media that really try to capture the full breadth of psychology, sociology, political consciousness, spirituality, and the transcendent aspects which uphold our religious heritage, starting with Malcolm X.
Wearing the ihram garb, I made my 7 circuits around the Kaaba. I drank from the well of Zamzam. I prayed to Allah from Mount Arafat. It was the only time in my life that I stood before the Creator of all and felt like a complete human being.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Each hour here in this sacred land enables me to have a greater spiritual insight into what is happening in America. The American Negro can never be blamed for his racial animosities. He's only reacting to 400 years of oppression and discrimination. But as racism leads America up the suicidal path, I do believe that the younger generation will see the handwriting on the wall, and many of them will want to turn to the spiritual path of the truth. The only way left in this world to ward off the disaster that racism must surely lead to.
So the focus of this video really zeroes in on portrayals of Islam as it relates to my own upbringing, being a first-generation Pakistani Muslim. But I want to highlight that according to Pew Research Center, the average Muslim American is African or African American. I think the portrayal of Islam as it relates to the NOI, Nation of Islam, 5%er ideology, which you really see in hip-hop a lot. It's a great song by Rakim called Mystery, Who is God, that I'm linking in the description.
In his own image, our origin begins in the East. Culture rise to free with the powers of peace. Dealing equality, nature's policy is to be gone. Build and destroy positively, born life like a law.
Muhammad Ali, Louis Farrakhan, and even Orthodox Islam. I don't want to make it out to be just because you're black and Muslim, you have to be a form of Nation of Islam or 5%er, right? Many black Muslims are Orthodox Muslim also. But for the purposes of this video, most portrayals of black Muslims in Hollywood, from Oz to The Wire to even Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is hilarious, stem from this Malcolm X archetype, this trope, the martyr who came from the streets, who metamorphosized in prison and found his spiritual essence and used it to better his people.
But I believe the true practice of Islam can remove the cancer of racism from the hearts and the souls of all Americans. And if I can die having brought any light, having exposed any meaningful truth that will help destroy this disease, then all the credit is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, and only the mistakes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina sirata mustaqim. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين.
Spike Lee's Malcolm X is a deeply inspiring film for many Muslim Americans, as is Ali by Michael Mann, which I think is underrated. These figures are deeply revered by Muslims. And here's a clip of Khabib Nurmagomedov speaking about Muhammad Ali.
Многие твои поклонники все чаще сравнивают тебя с Мухаммадом Али. Льстит ли тебе такое сравнение?
Я думаю, что наше сравнение, оно как-то неправильно может быть. Чисто из-за того, что он был чемпионом, я чемпион, он мусульманин, я мусульманин. Чисто вот из-за этого, но все, что он делал за пределами клетки, я думаю, что это несравнимо, потому что на тот момент, когда он был чемпионом, он же был, так скажем, другой расы. А в Америке на тот момент эта раса не воспринималась. Как он рассказывал в своей автобиографии, его даже не обслуживали в ресторанах, что он выбросил золотую медаль на свою по боксу. Ну, такие моменты тоже были. Но то, что он сделал, какой переворот, какое отношение он изменил к своей расе, я думаю, что это несравнимо.
So you can see how even around the world, these figures are revered. But the focus of this video is on non-Muslims, right? What these portrayals can do to leave a psychological imprint on non-Muslims. And I know from myself, speaking to individuals, specifically black Christians living in Texas, and mentioning Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Louis Farrakhan, really helps form a bridge between the social political aspects of religion in Islam and in Christianity that can be used to better our world. And I think that's what great film does, right? Regardless of Malcolm X being a Muslim or not, it's a vehicle that's used for his character change, and that's the heart of films, right? We want to watch people go from chaos to order in films, and most character arcs highlight that. Whether religion is the vehicle, whether family, whether falling in love is the vehicle, right? It's used as a message to inspire and bring humanity to our different worldviews.
Alhamdulillah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
What's wrong with him? Is he dead? Is that guy dead? Where are you gonna put him?
A shrine.
Shrine? What kind of shrine y'all got?
A shrine near a holy man that gives him comfort and access to paradise.
Hey, that sounds like a pretty good shrine, right, Chief? I'm not kidding. Sounds like a good shrine.
So I really want to touch on a war thriller because I like lots of those post 9/11 war thrillers. Body of Lies I really like, but Three Kings I really like. It highlights the invasion of Kuwait, but also touches on the diversity of Islam, which I think is completely lacking in Hollywood, right? It demonstrates the uprising of the Kuwaiti people, who were mostly Shia, right, who wanted to overthrow Saddam because of his Ba'athist regime and how he victimized and brutalized minority Muslims, specifically Shias. And also, shout out to Four Lions, which is another great film, which I put in my top 10 films right here. You can watch this.
Questions later, please.
No, man. You think we're all bombers, don't you?
That is absolutely...
No. When you look at someone like me, you think bomber, right? Yeah, you do.
That is not the case.
So why shouldn't I be a bomber if you treat me like one?
MashaAllah, brother.
Yeah, mashallah. Yeah. And the mujahideen, and I'm making a scene. Now you're gonna feel what the boom boom means. It's like Tupac said, when I die, I am not dead. We are the martyrs, you're just smashed tomatoes. Allahu Akbar!
MashaAllah, brother.
Oh, what, man? Come on. What? Just because I'm Muslim, you thought it was real?
I think one of the aspects that modern Hollywood is getting wrong is conflating multiculturalism with political correctness. Three Kings is not a politically correct movie, and I don't want to watch a politically correct movie. This is not a lecture, right? They use terms like Dune Kun, sand, N-word in this film. It's raunchy, man. It's gritty. You see people's head get blown off. People talk to each other in a very rated R type manner, and that's what we want to see, right? We don't want to shy away from these things, right?
Could you act in a more professional manner, please? You're making him crazy.
I want to be professional. He just wouldn't take his fucking rags off.
Pay attention to how it's done. Excuse me, sir. Listen, sir, we're gonna need you to disrobe like all the other towel heads, okay? Oh, I hate to see it come to this. Strip him down.
Non-Muslims often are not aware of the fact that there are minorities within minorities in the Islamic faith, mostly because lots of Orthodox Muslims don't even consider them, or I should say us, to be legitimate Muslims, which is a topic for another video. But I, for one, would love to see a film about an Ahmadi American Muslim, about an Ismaili Muslim American, about a Jafari Shia Muslim American, what that means about being a minority in the Islamic faith and being a minority in the United States, right? I think that is going to be really, really interesting, really be used as a tool for educating people and challenging their sensibilities and making them laugh and cry and all of these things.
Of course, I brought all the biscuits and water on the raft with me to keep them safe. Idiot.